often, and even with these two awakenings, it's not like a big situation for forward DUBU. I know you might want to see like a missile prop or something to like make this forward DUBU something that's just unstoppable in certain situations. But we'll see it play out with some of these. Maybe we get like the mayor or the president. I forget what we call it here when we get all the sparks.
Yeah,
you know.
I would actually be down for a forward DUBU because I do feel like the pick is a little bit underrated because everything that can hold really strong on the defense can also just hold directly in front of the enemy goalie and just wall them off. So, hey, who knows? I'd be very down for it. I'd be actually kind of happy to see it. But in the grand scheme of things, if we're looking at comps overall, I feel like the side of exit strategy here is a little bit more complete because they just have that speed and that Julie pick on NXCD. That's just going to hold so much value, and it is the DUBU forward. I am incredibly happy.
Okay, yeah, DUBU forward showing up here. All three members on that team taking Spark. Got two twin drives over here. NXDD deciding to take Pummelers. Okay, I mean, maybe it's just like an Atlas Lab thing where we're just like, yeah, we're going to take Pummelers on this Juliet and grab some kills, which is totally fair, and we'll see it happen as Zoe is approaching here with this big DUBU, getting that log, getting that first barrier. As Assertive is going to try to get this ball out of here with the help of Expo Chan, putting it onto the bottom side, though. We do see, like we mentioned a little before, a more traditional comp here coming out from the exit strategy. And we'll see if there's any big differences with that. As you can see, the Tofu wall is just coming up, but a little too far from the goal to have any big impact. But I mean, DUBU actually just holds the ball, like you mentioned, steps on everybody, and then puts the ball in the goal. I mean, damn.
Yeah. The DUBU value immediately being shown already, and that's what you want to be playing for when you do have that DUBU, right? Find yourself in those situations in front of the barrier and just be an absolute menace. Downsides of DUBU, slow character, can also die pretty easily. Just how actually Expo Chan got found off the edge there, and now Zoe got found off the edge as well. NXCD with a clean double KO here. Now power play 3v1 in favor of exit strategy, looking to get this last barrier, but Assertive actually doing a really good job holding on here. NXCD hasn't used the flip yet, probably wants to hold on to it, but that might end up being a mistake as a barrier now gets traded back. Both teams now on one barrier.
Yeah, like you said, great defense there from Assertive. I mean, the best thing you could do was get away at least until your teammate comes back with 0 barriers, but actually holding on to 1 is like pretty incredible work there as they're trying to work on getting this next one. Keeps the ball away from the enemy team. They just about all have flip as well. A lot of energy coming out here, though. We see one spent here from Fireman to get that little bit of pressure going, but ends up taking a lot of damage in return. Assertive, no problem. Keeping this barrier alive, too. Flips right in front of NXDD, making sure that they keep that barrier alive again. Popping the center. I mean, as long as they can keep the ball out of NXDD's hands a little too close to this barrier, I think they'll be able to hold long enough. But, you know, Frightfully Fresh also has a flip as well, so it's going to take a lot of work here for this DUBU to get into position.
Yeah, most definitely. And you can kind of see it with both NXCD and Zoe. They've just kind of been walking around trying to get any kind of core interaction for themselves, but they're not quite able to get it. The barrier does drop now on the side of on the side of the blue team. I forget the name, I'm sorry. As now they're back on the attack, though. Again, NXCD has a flip available if he does need to use it. Doesn't use it quite yet, though. Maybe even with that Pummeler's Juliet pick, might want to look for a KO off of this flip as well, as the attack does go out. The flip goes wide, doesn't find its target now. Now Expo Chan with the flip tries to get the goal in. Rightfully Fresh, though, clearing that one. Excellent.
Yeah, great strike shot there to get the ball free, and it's going to actually be a goal for the side of Cyberswipe. DUBU actually didn't even get an assist, I'm pretty sure, on that, even though it looked like he stopped the ball, but something else must have. Either way, yeah, good goal there from Cyberswipe with this pretty strange comp. They're already doing pretty well. 2 points right now. Only 1 barrier down, though. Push onto the top side. If Zoe had Tofu Fortress there, that might have been curtains for some of those barriers, but they're going to try to hold this ball in this ensnare jump. NXDD keeping it forward. Frightfully Flesh spending some cooldowns to not lose that barrier as they don't. Strike shot to keep the pressure onto the bottom side, but a blob, yeah, it's just a lot of, you need a lot of extra hits to get the ball past Juno sometimes. When the blob is just 2 hits at once, she moves up, strikes, you need 3 hits sometimes. You see the ball just getting hit right into this barrier here from Zoe, who's building up a flip again, approaching perfectly. Okay, not, oh my, okay, DUBU, you know, it's really like DUBU when it stinks, but DUBU when everything works out perfectly.
Yeah, and DUBU just went crazy on there. That's the power, right? When you do have that core up front, you do put down that Tofu Fortress, even a flip from Frightfully Fresh, they're not able to answer it. As a 3-0 set win for Cyberswipe does come through here. And an Adrenaline Rush being picked up here from Assertive, probably a deny off of NXTD's Julie, but the NXTD definitely happy to pick up a heavy impact as well. More cooldowns going the way of Zoe, Super Surge going to Firemaden to make sure that speed up is going to be so much more potent, and again, another deny pick off the Amy as well. And then to round it off, Catalyst on Expo-chan and Demolitionist on Mako. I don't think there's any breakout awakening picks here, but definitely like decent value across the board.
Yeah, we'll see if NXTD can maybe get an extra kill or two with this heavy impact. I like the deny of Adrenaline Rush there from Assertive to just kind of make it so that they don't get too much value from getting any of these kills, which might be inevitable sometimes. So it's a good deny there. Zoe also getting rapid fire, which is great. Gonna keep the ball, right? With that log, just putting DUBU on the front lines and just putting trees in the way. I mean, things get really rough when DUBU's just too close to the barrier and just too close to the goal. You know, honestly, DUBU's size really just helps him win strike wars too. This forward DUBU actually has already been a big menace and might just be one of the MVPs of this game. A flip from Expo-chan is going to get denied a little bit there. Zoe deciding not to spend their flip in that situation. Spends it defensively, though. Spends the Tofu Fortress with an insane glitch pop from Expo-chan. One step ahead on that clear is going to land them that beautiful goal. And I mean, Cyberswipe is actually looking really good. I mean, this exit strategy team has some great players on it, but Cyberswipe has got the synergy. I mean, they got the strategy. They got the exit strategy right now.
Yeah, most definitely. And I feel like it's really just that difficulty of being able to deal with that DUBU, because exit strategy are looking to play for speed, right? They're looking to play through momentum in that way, to play around the DUBU, but they currently don't have the awakenings for it yet to really efficiently do it. They have a lot of speed to their name, but it's still a little bit more difficult to execute. And if you look at the DUBU pick more specifically, what is strong against the DUBU, it's just taking him out, just straight up getting him off the map. But as you can see, the people that are getting taken off the map is actually Firemaden, but NXTD, it finds a flip to actually return that goal almost immediately. But what I was saying, I feel like how you deal with the DUBU forward is just taking him out of the map, making sure that he cannot get that attack going, that he takes all of this damage, but it's just so difficult to do because Zoe's just positioning so well for it, not being caught off guard around the edges to enable NXTD to find those dash punches.
Yeah, true. I mean, as long as Juliet can't get any of these punches, any of these kills, I mean, this Pummelers is not going to do you any favors at all. Zoe, though, looking a little bit weak. This could be their chance to get a Pummeler's buff. They do get a kick onto the DUBU there, but not enough damage to kill, and there you go. We got the Flurry there, Fire Flurry, or the Flame Flurry coming out, getting that kill. A nice heal also from Firemaden to keep themselves up, and this Pummelers is certainly active, but this ball is just kind of in the middle of nowhere, though. NXTD wins the situation there, but it doesn't score them a goal as they're going to go attempt to dribble it to themselves. Assertive, no problem blocking this barrier here. A couple of attacks from Firemaden is not going to work out either. The Tofu Fortress actually made that approach a little bit awkward for the side of a exit strategy, and we get a flip from NXTD, and it's going to be blocked away nicely from Zoe, and a really good log as well. I mean, this DUBU, oh man, I'm trying to say so much on this. DUBU is like really like working out, but NXTD sneaks one past onto the bottom side. A really clutch situation again, just like that last point, because Firemaden was just about to be staggered or shattered and maybe killed.
Yeah, exit strategy starting to find their groove, starting to find the way to play around this comp from Cyberswipe, as again they do find two barriers here and are going to try to find a way into the open net. The KO being found for NXTD as well. That Pummeler's now going to show its value as he's zooming across the field. Or is trying to be set up. Firemaden has a flip, likely want to use that to either set up NXTD or even just score it, as it needs to be used here. DUBU actually with that Tofu Fortress being quite lethal around edges, and Firemaden with a beautiful flip there to actually stay alive.
Yeah, Expo-chan walking into the black hole is going to make themselves the next kill target again. Yeah, NXTD nicely gets that punch, knocks them off the stage, and it's going to be Assertive trying to defend here, but NXTD with, again, one step up with that primary is going to get the ball right on in, make themselves the MVP here, most experience. They got some kills, chance to get a spark. We saw no sparks last draft and no sparks this draft. That's actually pretty crazy to see no sparks in the first, like, 16. So, I mean, pretty unfortunate there. I mean, you know, you get the MVP, you get a great awakening, but you sit there denying hot shot. I mean, it's not the worst awakening, but you know, you were meant for so much more.
Yeah, most definitely. And I feel like especially the side of Cyberswipe is not very happy to see the Sparks go this late. Because all three of them have the Spark start, right? They wanted to snowball off of those Sparks and just get everything rolling. And they do get some great setup for the Sparks, right? Zoe was able to pick up a peak performance, which means if a Spark of Resilience finds its way onto the DUBU, it's going to hold so much value. But what I also really want to point out here is the difficulty, I feel like, for the side of exit strategy at times was really dealing with that Amy, dealing with that Juno, that just have so much presence and influence in that midfield area. Being able to pick up a Monumentalist for Fire Madden here is actually going to help a lot with keeping core up front, and it's going to create so much more pressure on Assertive there to defend that goal correctly.
Yeah, agreed there. A really good push for the side of Cyberswipe, though, does get kind of nullified. I like that Assertive take Missile Prop to really help on the forward presence, too. Keeping this alive on the bottom side. They win a couple of strike wars there. NXTD approaching with a flurry, and it's not going to be sunk, but okay, we got a good strike shot there from Frightfully Fresh to keep themselves alive. They almost find a kill onto NXTD there. Expo-chan smelling some blood in the water here. Fireman is going to approach with this flip, kind of get blocked a little bit by this Tofu Fortress, but NXTD wins 2 strike wars to kind of negate any of that pressure that Tofu Fortress was supposed to relieve, and it's going to be Assertive. Fortunately, going to lose that barrier to Fireman's. Really good flip. Okay, a primary from Assertive almost landed that one in onto Frightfully Flesh, and now it's in the hands of Zoe, who's stuck in this snare drum, trying to get it on over to Expo-chan, who sends over the glitch pop. NXTD decides to flip there, though. Assertive doesn't have to use any cooldowns except for a strike to keep that one away. A triangulation strike here from Exit Strategy. Can't seem to find themselves in the goal just yet. Assertive trying to get it onto the board here into the hands of Expo-chan one more time. And if Zoe can just get into position, they might be able to get flip after a couple strikes and land this one.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like they can just yet. Fireman and NXTD doing a really good job at holding off any kind of attack here. Flip coming out from Assertive as well, and actually find its way up front as Zoe finds the angle right past Frightfully Fresh and Fireman in there. Really well found. Difficult shot to really aim at that point as well.
Yeah, man, core speed really just does the job there. It does it all. It takes barriers, it takes points, it takes lives, bro. Core speed, overtime. I mean, Juno overtime is just so strong, too. And even though we don't have eject button on the board, you know, got those boots, got a little bit of faster blobs. You lose one of these barriers here. Those Zoe approaching from the bottom side, but can't seem to land anything as we kind of double goalie situation, but they do end up getting one of these barriers to sort of get into position. Fire Maiden is going to try to make this happen with a flip, but decides to play a little bit more defensively there. I'm not 100% on that situation, but Frightfully Fresh and Fire Maiden are going to end up getting Expo-chan off the board here. Now it's up to NXTD to grab this final barrier.
Yeah, they do find the barrier as well here in the end, as now sort of it's going to try to hold on to the point. Not quite able to get it really out though, and NXTD with a beautiful dash punch will just force it through to Juno. Not really been given a lot of tools to be dealing with that Juliet in the 1v1, right? So once those barriers are done and that Juliet is in position to get a dash punch in, there's not much to really be doing there for the side of Assertive, other than trying to find a miracle of 8 strike.
Yeah, it's really like DUBU is the one character that on their team that like could deal with certain things like the dash punch. They move DUBU forward in a lot of situations, which is kind of working out in a lot of, like, even right there, the size of DUBU, like, even being able to strike that ball there and land that one was just another big situation. Sort of getting onto the bottom side, they do find a kill here. Power play for Cyberswipe. NXTD no longer on the map. Frightfully Fresh cannot get the strike in time, and Expo-chan finds a really great strike. With the help of, I guess, Assertive found this goal here, with the help of Expo-chan, perhaps, and they're 1 point away from grabbing another Awakening here and taking this next set.
And it would be a pretty important set for them to win as well, because, like you mentioned in the last draft, not a single Spark has found its way into the draft yet, so in the next Spark, it is incredibly likely we're going to see at least one more, and obviously Cyberswipe going in pretty hardy already, with AKO as well, man advantage on their side now. Flip from Zoe in front of the barrier. Is she going to be able to find it? She does use it as well. Flip comes out from Expo-chan as well, but it doesn't find its target, as there's now an open goal on the side of Exit Strategy, but the core is back on the side of Cyberswipe's defense. Assertive still has a flip if she does want to use it. Might have to use it here. No, Sad Boy's angle actually does go around as Fire Madden almost gets taken off the map again. This DUBU kind of showing KO prowess here.
I do agree. one thing I would like to see from this exact situation is, you know, have Zoe run up, spend a couple cooldowns, try to get the goal, and if it doesn't work out, retreat back to maybe a goalie spot and have Assertive, who currently has the flip, try to make a play here with Expo Chan. And that's kind of what they're going for right then and there. They do jump forward. Expo Chan was going to be the one to try to defend the goal there. And they make it happen with a really good flip, close enough to the goal to make things just too awkward for Frightfully Fresh. And it's going to be Expo Chan, the MVP here, grabbing a spark, perhaps? I mean, are we really not seeing a spark in the first 24? Or I mean, 888, guys. That's 24 awakenings with no sparks. Huh?
Yeah, well, at least the very few next awakening drafts are going to be very high value for the side of Cyberswipe. They do find really decent awakenings, though. I'm kind of surprised that a Fireflight goes down to Fireman here and isn't just being picked up by Expo Chan. But Zoe being able to pick up Stagger Swagger here is going to enable this dude to pick a little bit more. Other than that, I feel like the explosive entrance on Assertive might actually help a bit as well in those situations where you want to start rotating midfielder and goalie, right? Because you saw it at the end of the last point, Expo Chan and Assertive doing a really good job at kind of alternating those roles whenever Assertive had opportunities to really get involved on the front end. And now with that explosive entrance, with that extra range, is going to be even more so able to do that as Cyberswipe gets a convincing 2 barriers, but I can't quite find the angle to actually realize this goal, as now Exit Strategy is trying to get an attack going for themselves.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting pick there to see Aerials over Fighter Flight, but gonna get a little inted there from the now drone having Monumentalist. It's just a really awkward situation sometimes, but no problem. They'll move on to the next point. Yeah, Fighter Flight, or Aerials over Fighter Flight is definitely interesting there for sure, as Fighter Flight has just been like the MVP awakening for like forwards recently. But sometimes, you know, when you're playing, you just feel like, yeah, this is the one stat that I feel like I need to compete in this game. And sometimes it's just having a longer dash or farther range dash there. And that might just be exactly what Expo Chan is thinking, to maybe get some of these extra barriers or some of these extra points as they're going to push on there. It gets pushed onto the bottom side. One barrier down there from Cyberswipe, sort of trying to get it back over there to Zoe, who's finally taking position on the front. But they have a lot to go through here as Firemidden has flip, but one spent from Expo Chan is going to result in not all that much here. Firemidden really being patient with this flip and trying to make sure that they are in just the most perfect position. And hey, that patience actually paying off. They do get the barrier, keeping that flip, and now this big 2v1 approach here from Cyberswipe could result in the last barrier, though, but there's the flip, defended perfectly. Firemidden causing me to shut the heck up, man, as they're playing well enough.
Yeah, Exit Strategy just really holding on to this barrier. I feel like there's already been like 3 or 4 attacks where I feel like the barrier should have dropped already, but it's just not going anywhere. Frightfully Fresh and Fireman and just doing such a good job layering those strikes so efficiently and not letting that DUBU show its value, and even finding a KO on him as the goal gets found as well off the now mine. Excellent point played out by the side of Exit Strategy here.
Yeah, close one. Expo Chan was just a few pixels off of getting that flip, but just, yeah, the Monumentalist. It's just an instant hit, right? It just covers that whole space in an instant second. So, like, no time to react to that one with the flip is really close. But next point moving on here, though. NXD is already looking a little bit weak and help healed up by that now, though. Getting pushed almost off the map. Zoe looking a little bit weak. NXD is trying to get some of these kills and get those pummelers going. Has this flip and winning a couple strike wars makes things really scary for the side of Cyberswipe. Spending the Tobu Fortress defensively. You could even see that it's like a really tough spot. It sort of goes in kind of hard, but again, we have Frightfully Fresh defending quite nicely here with the help assistance of Firemaiden. And it's just a tough spot here, though. Pushing onto the bottom side, spends the flip, maybe gets a double, reinforces it hard with that Fire Sentry, and at least grabs that barrier. A flip from Frightfully Fresh is going to keep their own barrier alive, though. And now it's in the hands of Firemaiden, who has this flip, and now it's Pummeler's activated Juliet, and it's looking good to take this next point.
Yeah, the mine does come out, the flip doesn't find its target quite yet, and you're dealing with 2 goalies, right? DUBU is still a goalie in the end, but the core does sneak its way around Zoe there, as the side of Exit Strategy will find their second goal in this set. And, I mean, they need to, right? If they want to take this win, if they want to take the first seed of this group, they are going to have to find this game win here, and they're setting themselves up to do just that. As kickoff now commences as well, Assertive trying to get in the core down to the DUBU will successfully set up Zoe in a way where she can take that first barrier, but NXD there retrieve the core. The Amy Turd almost sneaking its way past Frightfully Fresh there, though. The barrier does drop in the end, and now we're looking at the side of Cyberswipe trying to get this point in to even out the sets, to put themselves onto match point. Flip from assertive coming out here as well, but defended excellently from the side of exit strategy. The death does come out from Frightful and Fresh. Another flip coming out from Zoe, and a clean strike from Expo-chan will actually put it in the goal. And Expo-chan is still holding on to her flip, more importantly.
Wow, Zoe going for like the mixiest mix up there, going for flip and then somersault, and then strike on up to Expo-chan, who gets it done in there. Really tricky gameplay to have like flip somersault be the order of operations there, but it's going to work out perfectly. They're going to also grab this next barrier at this point. Expo-chan goes for a big flip to grab the barrier, defends it, or reinforces it there with the glitch pop. And now it's on to Frightfully Fresh, who's going to maybe have a tough time getting it through this Topu Fortress, but we got Firemid on the bottom side to help, but we actually have a blob showing up out of nowhere with a great strike angle from Assertive. Is going to end the game for them. Actually, Cybersway just simply taking it over exit strategy. Kind of insane to see the DUBU forward just unleashed there. Like wow, and no sparks to be found.
No sparks needed, and I feel like the hidden MVP actually in the end there was a missile propulsion pickup for the Juno, giving that blob that much needed range to find this angle. I think Frightfully Fresh probably just didn't consider the fact that a serve can get involved that far ahead with those blobos and just gets caught by surprise. Now, still, Exit Strategy has made their way into the next stage already, but now they're going to be in the second seed position for that. Meanwhile, Cyberswipe taking a much-deserved first seed into this next round robin. So great showing from both teams, and the tournament will continue for both of them either way.
Yeah, for sure. A little bit of better seed there for Cyberswipe. Absolutely. Going on to the next round, and that is actually going to wrap it up for stage 1 of this tournament. We're going to have stage 2 coming up in just a little bit here, though. Slav, it was a really good time commentating with you, my man. Anything else you want to say before we head on out of here and these players just continue on fighting for this $2,000 prize pool?
I mean, it's been a pleasure commentating it with you as well. And honestly, everyone watching, you don't want to miss out on it because the tournament's just going to get better from here on out, right? The teams are going to get stronger. The matchups are going to be more entertaining to watch. And you definitely want to stick around as everything's going to be made ready for this second stage of SHEB. And even tomorrow, right, the bracket is going to be happening. The final's going to be happening. So keep your calendars clear. Be here for more exciting Omega Strikers gameplay. It's going to wrap it up for us. Thank you for being here. Thanks for having us. And see you guys in just a bit.